So it's getting to be that time when the news cycle is so crazy that some of the wildest storylines out of Trump world start to fly completely under the radar. And that happened this weekend when Donald Trump announced his choice to be ambassador to France, a position, I should note, that was once held by none other than Benjamin Franklin and Thomas Jefferson. Now, on Saturday, Trump posted on social media that he will give that plum diplomatic post to New Jersey real estate mogul Charles Kushner. You may recognize the last name. Well, Charles is the father of Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner. And he, like Trump, has also faced allegations of corruption throughout his life as he built up a family empire. In fact, if you're curious why Charles Kushner wasn't in Trump's last administration, well, it might be because he's a convicted felon. Back in 2004, Kushner pled guilty to 18 federal charges, arising from hundreds of thousands of dollars in illegal campaign donations he made as a New Jersey political power broker. He admitted to violating election laws, tax evasion, and witness tampering, and he ended up serving 2 years in federal prison. Seems like a typical story out of the Trump orbit, doesn't it? A wealthy convicted felon who's a friend of the family. But actually, it turns out no one in Trump's inner circle has ever done what Charles Kushner did to obstruct justice. Just listen to this description from the former U.S. attorney who put him away, a guy named Chris Christie.
It was so obvious he had to be prosecuted that, I mean, if a guy hires a prostitute to seduce his brother-in-law and videotapes it and then sends the videotape to his sister to attempt to intimidate her from testifying before a grand jury, do I really need any more justification than that? I mean, it's one of the most loathsome, disgusting crimes that I prosecuted when I was U.S. attorney.
Yes, you heard all of that right. And if it was a lot to take in, let me just lay it all out for you. Back in 2003, when the federal grand jury investigation of Kushner began, that grand jury got evidence from two key witnesses, Kushner's sister and his sister's husband. When he pled guilty, Kushner acknowledged that he arranged to have a prostitute seduce his brother-in-law in a motel room in New Jersey where video cameras were installed. The plot succeeded, and Mr. Kushner had a videotape of the encounter sent to his own sister. So yeah, I mean, it's no wonder Chris Christie called it one of the most loathsome, disgusting crimes that he prosecuted. But in Trump's last days as president in 2020, he gave Charles Kushner a presidential pardon, one that was roundly criticized, even among Trump's many questionable pardons. And now Trump wants the elder Kushner to be the ambassador in Paris, the top diplomat to one of America's oldest nuclear-armed allies. The ambassador to a country where, by the way, they have the internet and Google and certainly know all about Charles Kushner's past. And it would be bigger news if not for the avalanche of alarming reports surrounding Trump's other nominees. And guess what? Charles Kushner isn't even the only presidential in-law named to get a job this week. On Sunday, Trump announced on social media that he was naming Massad Boulos to be a senior White House advisor on Arab and Middle Eastern affairs. Boulos runs an auto business and has no diplomatic experience, but he is the father-in-law of Trump's daughter, Tiffany. So I guess the question is, just how many important government positions can you hand out to wealthy friends and family, including convicted felons, I guess, with no relevant experience, before the government crumbles under the weight of its own corruption? I honestly don't know the answer, but we may be about to find out. We'll be right back.